Hello, my name is Jairae.
And I'm Jordan with Good Steward Financial.
And we're about to sit down with the Father's Coach. Stay tuned.
Happy holidays. My name is Kevin L. Kelly, the Father's Coach. We here at the Father's Coach podcast, we are here to reform the image of manhood and fatherhood in our culture. We intend to reach 1 million men with our message of reformation and transformation. Tonight's episode is on legacy and manhood. So stay tuned. Welcome back. We here at the Father's Coach podcast, we have two guests, not just one guest, we have two guests. We have one millennial and we have one Gen Zer, and they are brothers. Oh my God, these guys are awesome. These guys are examples in their community, they're examples in their arenas, in their jobs, in their careers and everything. I mean, I love these guys. I love these guys. I love these like they're my nephews. So here we have Mr. Jairae, who's the youngest one, Mr. Jairae Jordan, and we have the oldest one, Mr. Jordan Hammond. And so we want to introduce them right now. We want them to introduce themselves, actually. We want Jordan to go first. Introduce yourself. Just give us 3 to 5 things about yourself that the FCC community would know about you before we go into the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jordan Hammond. Mm-hmm. As he mentioned, I am a proud father, a proud husband. I am a business owner, and I'm also a spiritual teacher as well. I was not counting. I don't know if that's 4 or 5, but I think that's really good. Embodies who I am.
Oh, Jairae, let's go.
All right. My name is Jairae Hammond. I am 25. I am married 1 year now, and I am a Delaware State trooper.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I think you guys are great examples of manhood in our culture, great examples of husbands in our culture. And I know you guys have a great legacy. This episode is actually dedicated to legacy. And I want you guys to share just a little bit about your grandfather, maybe 2 or 3 things about your great-grandfather, actually.
So I'll go. My great-grandfather, he was the first black pilot, Milford. And we kind of got a sense of community, giving back, and just greatness from him, I would say. I think probably that's what I would say.
Wow. So this legacy, right? Legacy and great-grandfather and grandfather. Share something about your grandfather. Go ahead, Jordy.
Yeah, so my Pop-Pop, as we call him, he is Marine. He served in the military. It eludes me as far as where he served, but I know he definitely served. And so he's all about service. Mm-hmm. And I also believe that he is a part of, is it the Milford Museum? He's definitely a leader in Milford.
Wow.
And so he's definitely one of service, one of leading. And so that's my papa.
Now, one thing I want to know, because I know your father's a really good friend of mine for years, and I want to hear something from you both about your father, Charles. Even though we call him Tony, Charles. Charles the third.
Yep, the third. So I'll give my part. So he followed in our Pop-Pop's footsteps. Okay. He also is a Marine. And he is a dedicated father for sure. He was present. We definitely appreciate his presence consistently throughout our lives. And he's also of service too. He not only served in the military, but he serves in the church. Mm-hmm. He is a leader for sure. And I'll leave some room for you to add what you want to add.
So I'll consider my dad a man's man.
A man's man. Yes, he is.
Growing up, he's always been a mentor. I've seen that, and I think that's where I get my giving back, community, and being involved. Right? He's just the the example. He's an example. I mean, that's what a father is at the end of the day. And end of the day is an example. So
I want your father to hear this, because I want you guys to give him some flowers. And you guys gave him some flowers. So because this episode is the theme is on legacy, what is your example? What is your definition of legacy?
Yeah. So for me, when I think about legacy, I think about it in two parts. You have the tangible, and then you have the intangible. So when I think about legacy in the tangible part, I think about scripture in Proverbs, where it says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Booyah.
So not just his children, but his children's children. And so we have that tangible piece, which is the monetary piece, right? What are you leaving, whether that be land, any type of real estate, any type of stocks, whatever the case may be. So you have that, things that you can physically see. And then you have the intangibles, which is the character piece, right? What are you instilling in them so that when you are no longer around, you're confident that they will be able to make sound decisions, that they are men of upright character. And so legacy for me is those two things, the tangible monetary piece, and then you have the characteristic. What are you leaving behind? What are you imparting into them that money can't buy, that money can't touch?
I love this. So with a husband and a father being present in the lives of the children and the family, that's both tangible and intangible, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give me a definition. You know you got to come. You got it. Come on.
And I'll speak on the intangible part of it. In order to leave a legacy, you have to build something, right? And a scripture I want to quote, I believe it's Matthew 7:24. It speaks on the foundation, building your house on solid rock. And I believe with legacy, at least in me and my brother's case, that foundation has been laid, but I think it's about building our house now. Each generation has a different house, and life is going to life at the end of the day. And I think it's our job to one, build our house so that the next generation can follow those intangible things. All
right, so let's look at, as you was talking, I was thinking about foundation. We both talk about foundation. So your great-grandfather was a level of foundation, right?
Correct.
A foundation for you guys, also for the community in Milford, Delaware, right? He's been a foundation. Then your great-grandfather, then your grandfather laid another layer of foundation for you guys, whatever they was building in the community and their family and everything, right? Then your father was also building something. He laid a foundation. What did your father build? I know he's building things, right? I know he's a builder, because that's probably his gifting too. What is your father building, or what has he built that you guys can see?
So in his current stage of life, which I'm proud to be a part of, he's building Light of Truth. Some may categorize it as a church, some as a ministry. We don't put it in a box right now, but he is building to make disciples. So he is laboring in that, and I've been, fortunate and blessed to labor alongside of him as he's building that. And I would also say that he's built, I'll take pretty good men, right? I stand as a testament to what his hands have formed and curated. So,
to that, I'll just say I am the product, right? To what he's built, simply put, I'm just a product.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So the baton. So I was thinking about this this episode. I'm thinking all week long. I'm thinking about the baton. You guys were handed a baton, but it's a unique baton of tangible and intangible, as you stated, right? Tangible and intangible items, legacy. So I guess you guys just already said what you were handed, right? So what are you building now? What are you taking over? I know you're taking over the lot, the lot, like Light of Truth, right? You're working alongside. You both were working alongside of your father with that. But what are you building? What's your vision? What do you see past today?
So I'll say past today, what I see is discipline and service, right? A lot of the time, like when we speak on legacy and leaving stuff behind, and the tangible parts about it, we can leave $1 million, but if we don't leave behind knowledge, what do we do? So discipline and knowledge, I think, is my vision of what legacy is.
That's good. You know what? A lot of times these days, a lot of people go after the bag. They go after the money, right? Especially you guys' careers. You know, you guys have some great careers. You in finance, right? And you in law enforcement. You can always go for the money and but you guys are going along with the character pieces as well. I know a lot of people. We all know a lot of people who have made a lot of money, go after the bag, sacrifice their families going after the bag, and then once everything's secure, you get the house, you get the car, you get everything, but there's no one to share it with. No one, people that was with you in the struggle, they're no longer there. The woman, the wife, the kid, they over somewhere else. But you guys are talking about the tangible and the intangible, which is excellent. So you're marrying the two. Mm-hmm. You're marrying the two. And I think that's the baton. You guys share that. And I see that as well in you guys, knowing your father, knowing your family, that you carry that. You have that. You value family. That's your core values. Give me a core value.
Core value, I would say it would be... Can we edit that out?
Nope.
Oh wow. So core value I would say is honesty. Honesty.
That's
we would say honesty.
Yeah. You guys have powerful core values, and thank you for just rolling with me with this, because I'm really excited because you guys are examples. Pure examples. A lot of times when we're meeting and we're talking with a lot of men and they're Generation X. I'm Gen X, right? Your father's Gen X, right? We also have baby boomers that we interview and everything. But a lot of times we don't have the voices. We want to hear your voice. We want to see some of the challenges and some of the victories that men are having. 2024 going to 2025. So give me a challenge that you see in culture. What challenge do you see as culture, not just as a black man, but as a man on the East Coast, as a man in this United States? What challenges that you see? And the reason why I'm saying this, because not too many families are like yours. There's not too many families like you could go back. Your great grandfather did this, and he was great. He's in the museum. Grandfather's in the museum. Like in the museum, in the museum for something positive. Type of thing. So a lot of people don't have what you guys have. So what about the families that don't have what you have? Wasn't raised like you were raised? What's some of the challenges you see?
So for me, I would say a challenge that I see, and I'll kind of put it under this umbrella. The umbrella being social media.
Gotcha.
And from that streams two things. I think lust, because a lot of things are over sexualized, and so you have that struggle, and then on the other side you have like this distraction. You have a lot of information thrown at you, and it's difficult to sort through the noise.
Can you back up real quick? Can you explain or define lust?
Yeah, so I mean that would be whether you're watching porn and the things that follow that, masturbation.
So that's the sexual piece. Can you lust other things other than sex?
Yeah, I mean you could definitely lust after money, things that distract you or pull you away from God in an unhealthy
you could be enticed by those things, like after the money, after the women, even gluttony, just some things, right? So lust was one. What else? What challenges do you see?
More so, I would say commitment. Commitment is really big. That can be sexual. That can be in that person's life as well. You have goals, you just don't stick to them, or
that's discipline, right?
That's discipline. So for that piece, I would say commitment.
Wow. So I'm glad you guys actually shared that so quickly, right? What some of the challenges are, because now you guys got to come up with a solution. What's the solution to the challenges that you see? So
I'll go here. I'll probably be a little bit long-winded.
It's okay.
But
let's go for it.
What I would say, as far as like the lust piece, right? When you have everything so accessible to you, and especially me speaking as a married man, the solution that I've found, right, is one, being buried in the word, right? Not having much of an opportunity to even look elsewhere, but even acknowledging that the situation exists. I remember it's maybe I don't remember exactly when I had this sort of revelation, but my responsibility as a man is to protect my wife. And oftentimes we think about that protection as physical, right? If a man is coming up, we need to protect her physically, but I also think it extends beyond that. We have the responsibility to protect her emotionally, spiritually, and everything that includes that. So that's also making sure that our flesh is in line with Scripture and not going outside, as far as cheating and things of that nature. So I take that responsibility of protecting my wife further than it just being a physical thing.
I love
and so that to me is a solution, just understanding that men we are to protect, and protection is three-dimensional. It's not one-dimensional of physical, but it's emotionally, spiritually, physiologically, whatever the case may be. This is
good. So I want to go back to the emotional piece too, right? So you've been married about a year now, but anyway, so you've been married for a while. So how long have you been married?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
So how do you emotionally protect your wife? And tell the camera, please.
Yeah, so, and that's one of the things, and I'll be transparent, is that I'm working on, because my personality, I'm more logical than I am emotional. So with my wife, she is emotional, and that's a good thing because it keeps the family close, right? She's the one that wants to do the outreach, keep the family together, and so there's definitely a benefit, and my job is to get better at that and acknowledge it, right? Oftentimes when we think about emotion or being emotional, we look at it as a downside, but I definitely see it as a strength, because it takes courage to be emotional, vulnerable, and so one is just acknowledging that, and her knowing me too. Like, I'm a mental processor. If you come to me with emotion, I want to figure out the way to fix it.
You're gonna process it too, right?
Yeah. But she was like, hey, sometimes I just want you to listen. And so it's something that I am still working on. It's a work in progress, but she knows that I'm in it for the long haul, and then I'm an improver, right? So I understand that this is an area that I need to prove, and she's been patient, gracious, and I've been, of course, praying and letting the Lord lead me, mold me in how He needs to mold me, so that I can love His daughter the way that she needs to be loved.
That's beautiful. And so when you're protecting your wife, that's some of the challenges that you see that maybe a lot of people your age, or maybe my age, don't do enough. So that's a challenge. Yeah. And then you just gave us a resolution, a resolve. Come on, Jairae.
So my solution to commitment, I would say, is it's a choice, right? At the end of the day, you have a choice whether you are going to do it or you're not. And I think the problem is it's an easy choice for some people. If you're willing to quit on the goals that you set, then you're willing to quit in your relationship. You're willing to quit on school, knowledge, anything like that. And commitment requires you to grow, right? And there's a quote that I love it, and it says, growth is an uncomfortable process, but pain is a necessary investment for progress.
It is.
And as far as commitment goes, like I said, it's at the end of the day, it's a choice.
I've grown the most in pain. My pain. I've grown the most in pain. I think everybody in this room can say that. We've grown the most. It's very uncomfortable, but I was the most focused in my pain. The discipline piece, right? There's been times that I was lacking discipline, and then in my pain, I got back to discipline. And then, even the time that we're fasting, whoever fasts, however you fast type of thing, but whenever I fast, I get more things done. I write more books. I think I'm on book number 6 now, and I get more things done when I'm fasting. That's the funniest thing. I'm like, well, when I'm not fasting, what am I doing? Just chill, drink coffee, whatever, type of thing. But when I'm focused, I'm more disciplined, type of thing. And then I love the marriage piece. The way I look at my wife, when I serve my wife, right? So because I serve my wife, because I serve her because she is God's daughter first before she's my wife. So I'm serving her. I got to serve her. I can't just be like, you just do this, wash my clothes, what she do, wash this, do this, do that. I can't do that because I give her reverence, and then when I do that, I get a harvest. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You get the harvest when you protect her, and she feels protected. You get the harvest. Yep. whatever the harvest is for you. You know, because if you give your wife a lot of hell, you're going to get a harvest of hell.
Yeah.
But if you give her love, you give her peace, you give her a listening ear, and she give that back to you, right?
Yep.
Wow. So when you guys' career, you know, how do you think your career, how do you impact your career with society? How do you think your career and the things, the skills that you have can impact society?
Yeah, so for me, and just to provide a little bit of detail, so I am in finance.
Yes.
And what that looks like is most people that I'm working with, I'm a financial coach, and so they're coming, they're wanting to invest, they're wanting to find out how to really put their money to work, but the first thing is getting out of debt. And so my thing is really helping those that want to reach the next level as far as investing, but have that budgeting piece that's missing. So it's the financial literacy. Like, this is really my passion. And when people come to me, it's always, it sparks me seeing when the light bulb goes off. Like, light bulb goes off or on for them, because it's a bit simple. Like, it really is simple. There's a lot of jargon, but when you really dig down, and I think that's a sign of a good teacher, is being able to simplify what other people have managed to make very complex. So that's really my contribution, especially to our community, because oftentimes we're overlooked. We have been that for a while, but because of the internet, because of access to books, like, we have the ability to read now legally. It really removes the
stigma.
The stigma, not only that, but the wall that was once formed. And so that really is my contribution to society, but even specifically our community.
So is that your business?
Yeah.
So that's your business.
So it's two parts. So it is the financial coaching, and then as a supplement to that, it is helping parents and loved ones protect their family with life insurance. And so it's kind of that two piece.
I like that piece you talk about financial literacy and getting people out of debt. I think we had another episode that someone was talking about getting out of debt. And I think that's one thing. In order to start wealth creating, you need to get out of the hole, right?
Yeah.
You need to get out of the hole. Jairae, what you got for us, man?
All right. So my contribution to society, or even my culture, is service. Like I said, I am a Delaware State trooper, so I get to see the ins and outs. I get to see the good and bad. And there's a lot that comes with that. You have a lot of younger people that even the older generation, they'll ask me, they see a young black male that's in a police force, and, you know, why'd you do this? Like, we all see what's on TV. Prior to me putting in the application, I seen what was on TV and things like that. So,
so you're actually changing the image. Wow. You also, just your presence in that career field of law enforcement, you're changing the image of black males. Wow. It just hit me just now. Because I know you're not there wilding out.
No.
You're probably protecting some of the people too, right? Really serving and protecting.
That's correct.
Yep.
Wow. So talk about marriage.
I guess I'll go first, since
please.
I'm the baby to marriage. But like I said, 1 year, marriage has been awesome. There's a lot of people say, "Why get married? It's just a piece of paper." But if you really want to build something with somebody that you love, marriage is the only way, to me, right? I'm not here to, and I told her the same thing, I'm not here to play house. Anybody can play house, but in order to step up, be a man and handle what you need to handle as far as the relationship goes, if you take it serious, marriage is the only option.
Do you believe in premarital counseling?
I do, and I was fortunate enough to get that from you. And hey, we made it a year, and it was gonna make it a lot more. So,
cool. Talk to me about marriage.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to go here. So I was fortunate enough to know very young through what my parents model that I definitely wanted to get married young. It wasn't kind of like what my brother said. I wasn't interested in playing house.
Right.
So I know knew immediately that as soon as I found the woman that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, I was going to marry her. And, fortunately, I was able to get married at 21. And it has been rewarding, and it's also challenging in a good way. So me and my wife, we're almost polar opposites. So I'm more so the reserved, private type. She is the extrovert. I'm more logical and like introspective, and she is more like emotionally aware. So it's funny how the dynamic has worked out, but we balance each other out in such a great way. And through and through, I would definitely say each and every day, it's like I found my Proverbs 31 woman. Like there's no doubt.
Wow.
So yeah, that's marriage for me.
That's a beautiful journey for both of you guys. Wow. Now, I was thinking about the word blueprint as you guys were talking. I was thinking about blueprint. I was thinking about your great-grandfather, your grandfather. So you were given a blueprint of manhood. So if you were given a blueprint, you were given a schematic, you were giving something, you was just giving direction, a map, mapping yourself to something, right? So you order, and so for you to build something, it's not that bad because you see an image. Yeah. You're able to see an image and a likeness. You're able to see an image of likeness of a man. So a lot of people, like I said earlier, didn't have that luxury. Now, so it's funny. It's a luxury to have a family, to have a father in the house. It's a luxury. Wow, that's something. So now that's something that you guys was handed, baton, the J.M.H. thing, right? I want you to talk about J.M.H. J.M.H. These 3 letters, J.M.H. That's your initials?
Yeah. It's our initials.
And then what else is it? It's your initials.
Yeah, so I'll comment on that. But one thing that I wanted to mention that you had stated is that, we've definitely been blessed with a good model of what manhood looks like. Good model. And it's something that, one, I don't take for granted, and I'm thankful to God for. Like, we're surrounded not only by just my dad, but we've been privileged with being surrounded like great men. Yeah. Well, I mean, around great men like you. I mean, I have a guy, I won't mention his name, but it's been a mentorship at one point, a friendship, a business partnership, and he's such a great man. And so it's been a privilege. It's not something that I overlook. And speaking to the J.M.H. thing, so it's something that is definitely near and dear to my heart.
I love it.
The J, so it represents the initials of our name. So the J, justice. M is manhood. And I know my dad came on, he said humility. I remember honesty. So that's a little bit of a change there. And I talked to him about it. I was like, you know what? I like honesty better. I think it flows better. So justice, manhood, and honesty is what our initials represent. And I think my dad has done a great job of instilling that in us. And I think that we represent those principles pretty well.
Wow, that's awesome. You want to share something too?
Yeah, no, and I think the H also, how he came up with humility. I think for where we are as far as even generation or where we are in our lives, I think the H tends to change. And right now it could be honesty. I mean, we grew up on honesty. It could change. And I don't know if that's where it speaks to where he is in his life, but I think that H is interchangeable with a lot of things.
What I love about the journey that you guys are on with your father and your mother, with the ministry, and I know a lot of times when people talk about ministry, they think of a church, right? All ministry is not just a church with 4 walls, steeple, and people going on Sundays. Your life is ministry. But what I love about how you guys do ministry is you're thinking about the city. You're thinking about the town. You're thinking about what the town needs. And I think that's what people need to think more about. Yeah. They need to think about not just having a church and you coming to my church type of thing. No, what do the city need? What does the city need type of thing? So there was a story. I'll share this real quick. There's a little story about a church. There's a church. I don't know if I should say it. I should say it, but I'm gonna do the Kevo thing. Right? I'm gonna say it. So there's churches in a town in a city, and because churches are a nonprofit by default, they don't pay taxes, right? But the church is taking up, let's say, an acre of land. So the church is taking up an acre of land, but don't have just there maybe 2 times maybe twice a week, Wednesday, midweek service and Sundays, but the rest of the week, nothing. You're not serving humanity type of thing. But if you can get that building. So let me look at it. So now the city officials may say, you know what? We got all this land and we need more money coming in. But you got all these churches that are filled up with, that have taken up, let's say, acres of land and not producing for the city or for the town. So there actually could be an eyesore to people who are in the finance piece of the city. So when I seen that and I heard the whispers of this years ago, and I heard that, I was like, oh my God, some of these churches probably are in trouble. Or eyesight to the mayors and the councilmen and women, right? So I was like, maybe if they serve more of the city, find out what the city needs. Keep your building, but find out what the city needs, then we can serve humanity, then it will be more likable to people who are not like us. Yeah. Like we love church, right? We love church, we love the building, we love, you come bring revivals, you come, whatever you want to service, you want to do trainings, do it, right? But let's serve, society, let's serve the town, and that's what you guys are doing. I hear that. I heard the vision. I was sitting there. I was like, oh my God, it's so exciting. And then I asked the question that everybody gonna ask. So is it the church? It's like, well, no, it's ministry. It may be a church, and I loved it. My insides was like, yeah. How can I help? Yeah, we have our own ministry as well, but how can I help? How can we help? And I just love that you guys are intertwined with that, and that's going to be, I believe, a new face of society, because we just had pandemic. Yeah, we just had a pandemic. What did church look like then? It looked like we was in our kitchens, in our basements, on Zoom, right?
That was green time.
Right. So then you serve. So then we're serving. You're serving. I just love that. So I wanted to share that thing. That's how other people think who are not really tied into a local church building. They look at it, and they work in the city. They look at it as an eyesore. They're like, that's another acre of land, not paying taxes and not only serving the few that come on Sunday.
Wow.
Something to think about, right?
Yeah. I think it's important to have like a pulse check. Like, what does the community need for outreach? And of course, the benefit of that is now they're being associated or they're becoming aware of the light of Christ. Naturally, if you see a lot of people being involved and they have maybe this name attached, the church name, naturally we're curious. So people will look into it, and now you could draw people from the city that may not have grew up in church. Now they're being drawn because of the service. So,
And the reason why we talk about this, I know we're talking about manhood and legacy and all that good stuff, and fatherhood and marriage as well. We talk about those things, but also because we're giving back, we see a need. So if you see a need, you need a pulse to the streets. What's going on? What do they need? And sometimes you need to go to the mayor's office. You need to go to the city council meeting to find out what they need. And if you have access to a building, wait, do you need co-parenting classes? Well, you could use our building on Tuesday night. You could use our building Saturday mornings, type of thing. And then you're an asset to society while we're getting our tax exempt, status, type of thing. Just something I want to throw out there. Hope you guys don't beat me up for saying that. I love the church and stuff like that, but I understand. We're kingdom people. We're not just thinking about just the four walls.
Absolutely.
So now, we're bringing the gifts that God has given us. We want to go out into society. We want to serve humanity. You're serving humanity every day. You're serving humanity. What else can we do to serve humanity?
So
to push humanity forward.
I'll take a different angle at this. As far as a way of serving humanity, I think it's taking care of home. Right. That is, so I have one boy, another one on the way, and my job is to take these boys and develop them into men of character. So, and the reason I think that way is because I kind of think about Jesus and how he had his 12. He didn't have 1,200. He didn't have 3,600. Yes. He chose an intimate amount, and that intimate amount went to spread Christianity to what we know it to be today. And so I think a big impact that I can have on society is to making sure that I develop not only myself but my men, my boys that will become men, and that they are able to contribute to society, staying out of trouble so that they don't have to deal with a trooper at all. And so I think I look at it on a more micro scale, just taking care of home first, and then from there will flow out. And then of course if God blesses it tenfold, then so be it. But I just look at home being.
I love it. Jairae?
The root word of humanity is human, right?
Yes.
How do we push humanity forward it starts with us, right? Each individual. What are we doing to contribute to society? What are we doing? And we have to look intrinsically towards ourselves. Like, what are we doing? And it, like I said, it just starts with the individual at the end of the day.
I love this. And I framed those questions. I designed those questions specifically for you guys because you guys are young, you're fresh, you're sharp, you have a strategic mind. I did earlier today. I did a leadership training for someone, and then I was just thinking about their question was, do I have a strategic mind, strategic thinking? And I was like, yes, you do. And I told them why, right? I know you guys have a strategic mind and you have strategic thoughts. And so everybody don't have that. And I wanted the FCC family to hear from you, to hear your heart, to see your family, to see an image, to see a blueprint of another facet of man, because society is always showing us something else. The news right now is showing, the Philadelphia News or Wilmington News or Dover News, whatever, is showing something else right now. Right now. But we here on the Father's Coach podcast is showing something fresh and refreshing. And I really appreciate you guys. I honor you guys. I honor you guys, for real. I do. I've been seeing your posts. I see your posts. I'm like, man, go do your thing. Give me some love, man. Give me some love. You know, I really appreciate you guys for even coming today. You know, I want to give you guys at least a couple of 30 seconds to think about just lasting words you want to leave to the FCC. FCC is the Father's Coach community. So think about something you want to share, some last remarks, and also share how people can reach you for your financial coaching, whether it's your handle, Instagram, or your website, or anything. Have at it.
Okay. So I think I'll start with the insight is, for me, it's simple. Just be led by the Lord. And, you know, what that looks like is studying, reading your word, and submitting your will to Him. Oftentimes we have things that we want to do, but as I've learned growing into manhood and the responsibility is, even though sometimes he'll crush us when we're in God's hand to develop us, there's no better place to be than in the hand of God. And so I would say that that's the most simple and straightforward path is, you know, just following the Lord. And if you want to contact me at all, goodstewardfinancial.com is my website. You can reach out there. So it's goodstewardfinancial.com. Facebook, Jordan Hammond. I am pretty private, so you may not, if you're expecting a whole bunch of posts and videos, you will not find it with me, but I am a pretty open book. So you could find me Jordan, Jordon, not A-N, Hammond, Hammond.
Jairae Hammond, you next.
All right. I would say to the FTC fam out there, continue to pray. I think having a prayer life is essential, not only for you, but for the next person, right? We have to continue to pray for America as well. But as far as reaching out, I hope I don't see you in the work aspect. But if you see me out, don't be afraid to stop me. I'm an open book, just willing to have a conversation. So,
wow! Thanks again for coming. I would like to thank our users and all our viewers for watching the Father's Coach podcast today. This episode was excellent. You can tell my insides are flurrying. So many gems, even from the youth. I wanted to get their voices out. This guy don't talk that much, but I want to get his voices out. I want to get his voice out. I want to get Jairae's voice out. I wanted to get the image and the blueprint of manhood from their perspectives, from the millennial and the Gen Z. So thank you for joining. Again, this is Kevin L. Kelly, the Father's Coach Podcast.